Information fueled.
Opinion driven.
This is Nashville's Morning News with Dan Mandis.
And so, my fellow Americans,
We talk news.
606 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. How are you? Welcome on in to April 14th of 2025. So what is going on with tariffs? There's a lot of confusion over the weekend. And so I want to play some audio for you from Howard Lutnick and the Trump administration because there was some confusion. Jake Tapper himself was utterly confused in this interview. So here's the latest as far as I can tell. Over the weekend, it was reported, this was on Friday night, that some electronics would avoid Donald Trump's 125% tariffs coming from China. Trump has now come out and said that was actually fake news. So here's what he said, and this was on the socials. Nobody is getting off the hook for the unfair trade balances and non-monetary tariff barriers that other countries have used against us, especially not China, which by far treats us the worst. The president, of course, posted on Truth Social. His administration clarified on Sunday that electronics would be subjected to other tariffs. Need some audio here, KGB? There was also, he said, no tariff exception announced on Friday. Trump continued in his post. He said these products are subject to the existing 20% fentanyl tariffs, and they are just moving to a different tariff bucket. He continued. The president wrote, we are taking a look at semiconductors and the whole electronic supply chain in the upcoming national security tariff investigations. So on Friday, everybody thought, okay, so I guess if you have an iPhone or maybe some of these other electronics, you're going to buy some, they're not going to be subject to these massive tariffs on China. But then on Sunday, Trump made his post, and then Howard Lutnick, of course, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, took to the Sunday shows to clarify to a very confused Jake Tapper.
I mean, the notice that went out Friday night saying that electronics, a wide range of electronics, including smartphones, including components used to make microchips, that these are now exempt from the reciprocal tariffs. Why that move?
Well, remember, those products are going to be part of the semiconductor sectoral tariffs, which are coming. So you're going to see this week there'll be a register in the Federal Registry. There'll be a notice put out. That is different types of work. So we're going to do that. We did that in autos. The president's going to do it for pharmaceuticals, and he's going to do it for semiconductors. So all those products are going to come under semiconductors, and they're going to have a special focus type of tariff to make sure that those products get reassured.
All right, so trying to keep all this straight. In other words, the tariffs are simply moving from one categorization of tariff to another?
So you're saying that the big tariffs on things like smartphones and laptops, iPhones, all those iPhones built in China, that those tariffs are temporarily off, but they're going to be coming right back on in another form in a month or so? Or what are you saying?
Correct. That's right. That's right. Semiconductors and pharmaceuticals will have a tariff model in order to encourage them to reshore, to be built in America. We need our medicines and we need semiconductors and our electronics to be built in America. We can't be beholden and rely upon foreign countries for fundamental things that we need. We can't be relying on China for fundamental things that we need. Our medicines and our semiconductors need to be built in America. Donald Trump is on it.
Yep.
He's calling that out. So you should understand these are included in the semiconductor tariffs that are coming, and the pharmaceuticals are coming. Those two areas are coming in the next month or two. So this is not.
Yeah. So point is that these various types of electronics, Lutnick says, need to be made in America. Same with our medicines. I mean, we've been talking about this ad nauseum, and I don't understand what it is that people that are anti-tariff don't understand about what Donald Trump is trying to do. And I get that we all have different opinions on it, and that's all fine, well, and good. But my question to those people, after listening to Donald Trump, after listening to Howard Lutnick, after listening to Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary, bottom line is this: is it safe to have our medicines made by our enemy? I mean, we don't need a Daily Dan poll to, figure out the answer to that question. Of course, our medicines should not be made by our enemy. And so we need to figure out a way to have these things made here in America. And by the way, it's also been announced, as you know, that dozens of countries have already come to Donald Trump and deals are on the table. Many more are getting ready to sit down over the next couple of months as Donald Trump and his team negotiates these deals. This is all part of the process. But make no mistake, and y'all know this. I mean, been listening to, WTN and me and the other hosts. This is all about China. This is all about China. China, at least to me, is public enemy number one. They really are. Donald Trump, the big question is, has he heard from Xi Jinping? Jake Tapper asked that of Howard Lutnick. And here's what he had to say.
Have you had any conversations with your Chinese counterpart? Has there been anything between you and the Chinese?
I think we've had soft, the way I would say it is soft entrees, through intermediaries and those kind of comments. But we all expect that the President of the United States and President Xi of China will work this out. I am completely confident, as is he, that this will be worked out in a positive, thoughtful, and effective way for the United States of America.
All right. So, bottom line is we are still marching down the road of tariffs. The negotiations do continue. The tariffs on electronics and all those kinds of things, they are going to move to a different bucket. And this is all a work in progress. This is all a work in progress. And I get what the president is trying to do. I also understand what the Democrats are trying to do.
Right now, it's a no curbs on Donald Trump, and that means chaos and corruption. I am worried that the continued chaos, the continued corruption, right now what we've got is chaos and corruption.
That's Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas or whatever you want to call Elizabeth Warren. But the Democrats are all over the place with this chaos and corruption mantra. And so she was on with, again, all over the place, Jake Tapper, and talking about this chaos and corruption. And so this is part of what they're doing. And by the way, just so you know, Elizabeth Warren has traditionally been for, believe it or not, she's always been for tariffs, just not Donald Trump's tariffs. Jake Tapper, by the way, seemed to trip up Elizabeth Warren with one simple question regarding Donald Trump. And that detail is straight ahead. It is 6:15. Time to check the roads on WTN. 6:15, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Looks like as far as your weather goes, high today of 82 and partly cloudy. Some rain expected tonight, maybe around 9 o'clock this evening. All right, it is 6:16 on WTN. So I'm talking about and joking about the mantra that Democrats are now using where they're talking about corruption and chaos. I just played your little montage from Elizabeth Warren. They have been all over this talking point.
We begin this hour with the chaos.
The average American sees chaos. The American people see chaos.
It's total chaos. You brought chaos.
It's just complete chaos.
Unleashed an economic chaos.
They unleash chaos.
They are creating chaos.
So what was that? What was that word again?
This chaos.
Oh, there's too much chaos.
Total chaos.
That amidst the chaos,
we're going to see chaos.
After seeing all the chaos,
the chaos he has unleashed on America.
So what was that word again?
Continue to see the chaos.
Economic chaos.
A lot more chaos.
Trump's chaos.
This is chaos with such chaos.
The chaos because of this chaos.
You know what we need to do, Joan?
What's that?
We need to somehow get on the talking points facts that the Democrats get every day.
I wonder how you do that.
How do you infiltrate? You know what we
chaos.
Need?
That's how you do it.
I wonder if
you know
Grok
we need?
knows.
We need somebody who is on the other side, who can feed us information.
Yeah.
Because I wanna see the memo where they said use the word chaos.
Yeah.
A lot.
Chaos.
All of this chaos.
Uncertainty and chaos.
Given all that chaos.
When it's chaos.
All the chaos.
Chaos and confusion grow.
It's more chaos, dysfunction.
The chaos is the purpose. The chaos is the goal.
It's chaos.
There you go. Democrats in their chaos.
They got their own signal chat. We can intercept it probably.
That's exactly right. Find a 13-year-old. Intercept it. So Elizabeth Warren, of course, she's been using, she got the memo. And so she is like, a good little Foconatus. She is using the term chaos and corruption. Now, Jake Tapper seemed to trip her up this weekend when he did ask a very simple question.
Have you seen any actual evidence that insider trading was going on instead of the just general advice he gave for people to invest?
Because remember, the Democrats are screaming, and we talked about this extensively on Friday, about insider trading and that Donald Trump needs to be investigated. All these things. Because remember, when he posted on True Social, now would be a great time to buy. And in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with that, of course, because for President Donald Trump, it was out in the open. And he just let everybody know there's nothing specific about it. But the Democrats are calling for investigations, including Elizabeth Warren. But listen to how she frames this.
Well, there are people who have looked at what happened to purchases and to calls just before he made that announcement that caused the stock market to skyrocket. But let me be clear with the back and forth here. That's what investigations are for.
Actually, under the Democrats, investigations have been utilized to completely trip up and derail an administration. I would actually say that under the Democrats, that is what investigations have been utilized for, to try to get Donald Trump not only out of the Oval Office through impeachment hearings and all of that other nonsense, but also trying to accuse Donald Trump of things that he didn't do. That's what the Democrats utilize investigations for. Wrap Donald Trump in all of these investigations. And it's obvious what they're trying to do. Distract him from getting the job done like they did in his first term.
And it's entirely appropriate to have an investigation to make sure that Donald Trump, Donald Trump's family, Donald Trump's inner circle didn't get advance information and trade on that information. This is just, this is how the stock market works in order to make sure on a consistent basis that nobody's trading on inside information.
So she also wants to take away Donald Trump's ability to negotiate and implement tariffs. I've got that part of the story for you coming up. By the way, don't forget to watch us on YouTube, like and subscribe to the channel. I'm proud to announce, Joan, that our YouTube channel is growing by the day.
Oh, I love that.
As a matter of fact, don't tell anybody, don't tell Joe Rogan, but we're nipping at his heels.
He can probably afford for us to nip at his heels.
Joe Rogan is looking over his shoulder.
Yeah.
At the WTN.
How close are we?
YouTube channel. We're behind.
Millions away?
I think we're behind by about 75 million.
Yeah.
That's what we're getting.
Close. We're this close.
Anyway, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can watch us basically anywhere except for the one place we should be, which is Rumble. Whatever. Also, I always go negative. Why do I always do that, Joan?
Because it's in your nature.
Your MO.
It is in my. That is part of me, isn't it?
Yep.
We're
all used to it, though.
I'm sure that somebody's working on getting us on the one place we really need to be, which is Rumble.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's happening. Anyway, we also have stream us anywhere you want to stream. Listen to us on the radio at 99.7 WTN. Take the Daily Dan poll, which we'll get into here momentarily. Joan, what's coming up?
Well, we'll tell you why some NTSU students have been kicked off campus. Also, why the media will closely track an 11-minute rocket ship ride today. Those stories and more coming up here at 6:30.
Please tell us it's a one-way ticket.
No, it's coming back to Earth.
Is it?
Sorry. Yeah.
You know, it's great. We're sending one of America's biggest space cadets to space.
Oh, my goodness.
You can use that.
Yeah. Okay, I think I will. Thanks.
All right, very good.
Yeah, coming up here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.